Hey guys, new video from the Jersey Comic Crew. Today we are talking the Three Jokers finale. That's right, you saw the title. We're going to see the end to this epic story. Stay tuned for more.
Hey guys, Chris and Rob here. You know why you're here. We're talking Three Jokers, the finale of this 3-book epic by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. We're going to talk about everything that happened in this, so 100% spoilers ahead. We're going to talk all the biggest plot lines, the characters, what this means for Batman and the Bat family, specifically Barbara and Jason going forward. Rob, take us away on this Bat journey.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this with you guys. Real quick, hopefully you've already read the book. If not, you're going to get some spoilers. This is your spoiler warning. We're going to give you a quick recap of what's been happening. So the story kicks off with the Bat family, well, the trio of the Bat family. We see Batgirl, Red Hood, and Batman all in their Batcave talking about the location of the other two Jokers. The two Jokers that are left, that have been named the Comedian and the Criminal. Right, Chris?
Yeah, the Criminal is basically the first ever Joker in comics, mixed with a little of Cesar Romero from Batman 66. This kind of carnival-type, campy Joker, but is also extremely focused on crime and like kind of the thought process. And then the Comedian is like Alan Moore's killing joke Joker, the one that turns Barbara into Oracle, more of the sadistic Joker we're all used to and love.
Exactly. So
love and hate.
These two interpretations of the Joker that we've seen throughout history, just because one came earlier in our timeline of comic books, doesn't mean that's the original Joker per se. We still don't know which one's the original, which one is the one who created the other ones. And we kind of get some more of that later on. So as the three of them are discussing, Jason still holds Bruce accountable for the Joker's running rampant. Of course, they have this fight back and forth, and that kind of gets squashed when they said, hey, we need to work together to stop the Jokers. This is bigger than us right now in our fights.
Barbara has to play mom with the fighting kids.
Exactly. So, and we already got that in the last book, so they squashed it again. They go to Joe Chill's cell, right? They're like, all right, maybe there's some more clues at Joe Chill's cell. And Batman finds a bunch of letters from Joe Chill in his room. And they're all addressed to Bruce Wayne. Apparently these are letters of apology that he's sending out to the kid. And in these letters, there's one listed Batman. At first, I'm sure you reading at home, and me and Chris were like, does Joe Chill know that Bruce is Batman? No. We open it, and it's 2 tickets to the movie theater.
Paradise?
Where the grass is green and the girls are pretty.
No, not guns. 2 tickets to Paradise. Eddie Money. I've got 2 tickets to Paradise. You missed it completely. I mean, I love me some guns. I've seen them live. They're phenomenal.
Anyway, let's get back on track, guys.
How did you miss that?
I don't know. I went with a different song.
You went straight metal.
It's not rock.
It's not metal.
Anyway, Batman, Red Hood, and Barbara go to the movie theater, The Max Zero. That was the movie that was playing when Batman's parents died. So obviously the Jokers, I should say, has set up a trap. Batman has brought the Bat family there. They all enter in different areas. Barbara's through the roof, Jason's through the back door, Batman's through the front door. As they get in there, Batman confronts the Criminal Joker. The Criminal Joker has Joe Chill there. Now, while Barbara and Jason, they're fighting off other Joker clones and the second Joker, Batman and the Criminal Joker are having essentially a heart-to-heart. They're trying to figure out what's going on.
And that was kind of, sorry to interject, but that was kind of, the Joker clones to me, they weren't very explained much. To me, that was the ones that didn't work out, that were kind of in that pool, the empty pool before. That were just, it's almost like the people that were in pain and I don't want to do this, but I don't have a choice.
They're just like zombies, essentially. Yeah. They're like Jokerized zombies. They don't really have their cognitive abilities, and I think that's what it is. So it just turns them into.
They were just like pawns on a chessboard, thrown out there.
They're just mind-numbingly monster. All right, you gotta attack this. I think zombies is the most accurate word that we could describe.
Yeah, they were like living zombies.
Exactly. So the Criminal Joker reveals to Batman the reason why they want Joe Chill to be the next Joker. They think he's going to be the perfect Joker. Because up until now, the Joker didn't really mean anything to Batman in the eyes of the Criminal Joker. But Joe Chill is the one who killed Bruce Wayne's parents. Joe Chill is the one who set Bruce Wayne on this journey. This Joker will have more meaning and depth. So the Criminal Joker thought that would be the next thing. An explosion happens. Batman saves Joe Chill. And essentially, Batman forgives Jojo for what he has done. He forgives him. He saves him because he could have let him die, and he saves his life. And they move on. Then, huge scene, guys. The comedian Joker comes up and shoots and kills the criminal Joker. Big twist. I did not see that coming. So the Joker killed the other Joker, and he says he was out of his mind. He didn't know what he was doing. I was just using him.
Very poor choice of words.
Yeah,
he was
right?
out of his mind.
He was just saying, like, listen, the Joker doesn't need to mean anything. Like, all he needs is to be there. All I need there is for you. The reason I set this whole thing up, he kind of seemed like the secret mastermind behind it.
He was. He planned the whole thing somehow around the other two.
Which is great, because like
Which is brilliant. Brilliant.
Jokers are playing off each Jokers. It's fantastic. What was really cool was the reasoning behind it. So now the only Joker left, I should just say, the Joker planned it and said, listen, the reason I did this was so you could forgive Jojo. So your greatest pain in your life, I could heal you from it. So that way me solely am the only tortured soul in your life. Like, I am the whole hurt for you. Like, you can't say this is your greatest fear, this is your greatest trauma. It is now me. Like, this super obsessive feeling that we got from the Joker, which we've seen throughout all of comics, and everybody knows, even if you're a casual fan, the Joker is obsessed with Batman. This back and forth, this cat and mouse game is taken to a whole nother level. Like, he was so sadistic and brilliant, by the way. Like, this was brilliant that he healed him so that way he could be the sole source of his anguish. Then, of course, he gets captured, right? He gets sent off to Arkham. And then we see the two little, like, epilogue scenes. They were still in the book, but they're really the after scenes, right? Jason wrote a note and put it on Barbara's door, like with a piece of scotch tape, saying all of his feelings. Old
school, baby.
Saying, I'll give up being Red Hood. I want to be with you. We can do this together. Like, as like lovers, essentially. He's like, if you don't want anything, we don't ever have to mention it. The letter, in true comic book fashion, falls to the floor, gets swept away, even though, you know, he could send an email. You could stick it on the door. So many different things, but like
attached.
Exactly. This was like for that dramatic flair. They're like, oh, what happened? They could have been lovers.
He took the time to write.
Exactly. And then
the pen is mightier.
And then like it gets swept away, like his one chance. Like like as much as I hated it, was also like very poetic for the writing.
Yeah. That's your 14-year-old
no, it is
romantic comedy inside of you.
Like logistically, and like me thinking as a rational person, I was like, you should just slip it under the fucking door. You should have gave this letter to yourself. Like, but like I get the poetic side of the writing for that, so like I'll let that go. Like, I'm fine with that.
The letter, in a way, was paced was really good.
Exactly, right? The second one is that Bruce reveals to Alfred, in this universe, Alfred is still alive.
Or this part of the timeline.
This part of the timeline. This is Black Label, so it's part of the world and also not. So Bruce reveals to Alfred that he knew who the Joker was the week after he met him. So this whole time, nobody knew who the Joker was. Apparently, Batman did. And the reason he did, it's not important, apparently, is to protect, you know, the Joker's wife and child, who are no longer in the picture, who the Joker thinks is dead. So as much as Joker is obsessed with Batman, right, and he doesn't care that who his secret identity is, he's not going to reveal it, Batman's kind of doing the same thing. He knows Joker's identity, but he's not doing anything about it. It almost doesn't matter because the persona, the identity that they both taken upon themselves is more important than who they are underneath it. So that's kind of the recap. And real quick before we take over, you take over, Chris. At first, I was mad with this book, and I was telling Chris, but after I retold the story and I got myself swept up in it, I'm like, oh wow, these are a lot of good moments. I like it a little bit better. Is that weird?
No, it's not, because it's a book that, honestly, it's one of those books that makes you question, is this needed?
Yes, 100%.
After all this time. It's a book, it's 3 issues, big issues, but it's a book that started like this mythology question almost 4 to 5 years ago, and with delays and then COVID on top of that and everything else, it's a book that we haven't gotten, so it's like, it's a big, do we need this book question, but there's some of the story beats that are so good.
Yeah, so for me, it's like the things that I really liked about, let's say, the ending book, right? Because we're focusing on this book and the story as a whole. The whole mentality of the Joker doing this, right? I like this. But, like, did it need to be a 3 Joker story? It felt like he could have done this without 3 Jokers.
Yeah.
right? Like he could have done this whole Joe Chill forgiving and stuff like that. That didn't seem like it needed to be inherent with the idea of three Jokers.
I think it kind of took a route where the exciting factor would have been if Jason became the Joker, right? That would have been the shock value.
See, I don't think I would have liked it if he would have stayed a Joker. Like if he would have been like a
not
Joker
at all.
for a little bit and then Batman healed him.
Exactly.
I thought that would have taken it to a whole nother level. I think that would have been a better three Joker story. I think this is a great Joker story. You see what I'm saying? The difference? Like,
no, absolutely.
Like the ending that we got and the things that I like about it, I didn't need two other Jokers. Like it could have been just a Joker story solo taking Joe Chill trying to mess with him. The whole unique concept of three Jokers, I think, was wasted in this.
Well, I think the concept is not based on just comic storyline. I think it's also based on fans and based on normal debates that like you and I used to have at the Rec Center 24/7 about characters, right? Like I think it stems from those conversations of like who is my Joker? Who is my Batman? Is it, post 70s Batman? Is it the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil era? Is it the Batman 66 era? Like it's the same question just with the Joker. So Batman of who's your Joker? Is it Five-Way Revenge? Is it Scott Snyder? Or is it Killing Joke?
So is the comedian the Scott Snyder one?
Well, technically it is.
Okay.
So that's one of the highlights of this book to me is we now have a definitive, like, no, this Joker is the Joker. And to me, it's the best one. I agree. The one that started in the Killing Joke and Alan Moore's Killing Joke, which to me is the best Joker story of all time. And the Killing Joke Joker, which also many fans see as the best form of the Joker, is the latest one that from that point on kind of continued throughout the comics.
It's more mind games because the other one, like the one is campy and the one is more just a thug, right? Yeah, like this one's more like he plays with the mind and like you said, pushes the envelope.
Well, that and it also connects because it makes sense that Batman would know his identity because in Killing Joke, the origin of that character is the failed comedian. It's the failed comedian who goes home, who owes money to the mob, who is trying to keep his family. And we also see him in issue 2 having that like mental breakdown of a fake dinner with like stuffed animals. Like it's his family. So that was kind of an Easter egg right there. But that to me makes Batman like, oh, I know who he is, way cooler and way more of a strong plot point. And the best part about it was like, he's like, I know, and like Jeff Johns kind of makes fun of people saying the I'm Batman line, where it's like, I know people, he's like, I know everyone says this like it's not a big deal, but I'm Batman. Of course I know who he is.
Exactly.
Which also leads back to he clearly lied to Jason
and Barbara
in the beginning because they asked him, do you have anything else that you would like to share with the class on what we're walking into? And he's like, no.
He's like, they're like, if he knew Joker's identity, he would tell us. He's like, I would.
And also, clearly Jim Gordon knows Barbara's Batgirl.
That's the other big
which
thing.
No one's kind of talked about. And I'm like, this is huge.
Well,
so, like,
it's always been like hinted at, right? Like it's always been like alluded to that they kind of knew each other.
To him though.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the first issue, he's like, does he know? And she's like, no. Like he has no idea who. Like I'm his daughter.
Well,
and it's like, yeah,
obviously they keep some secrets.
Well, yes, exactly, and that's a part of what I think makes the family dynamic for the Bat family, right? It's not based on truth and honor and we share everything. It's based on let's get the job done and I can count on it.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's like we have to work together to save people. That's what it is. That's
despite
like
all the different personalities and lifestyles.
This whole Barbara and Jim thing, and like you said, the Killing Joke Joker becoming almost solidified because that was always in question, right? Like whether or not that was canon. But like in this universe where this book is, that is obviously real. And for me, I'm like, if Barbara went through what she went through in the Killing Joke, then of course she's gonna tell Jim, right? Jim is gonna know what happened to Barbara and all this kind of connections.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that if the Killing Joke is real and canon, then Barbara and Jim know each other, and I'm sure like Jim and Bruce, they might know each other's identity. But like this book to me,
that's a good point, Rob. That's a really good point because if Killing Joke happens, it's like, oh, Batgirl is paralyzed and so is Barbara. What a coincidence!
What a coincidence,
like,
right?
Like he's gonna know,
and she's gonna tell him. She has to tell him.
Well, also as a detective, it's gonna put it together real quick. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really good point.
The biggest thing I think this book has shown us, and the message that I got was that it doesn't matter who knows the identities of characters, right? It doesn't matter the story behind them, because the whole three Jokers thing, I think if anything, it's a comment on it doesn't matter who the Joker is. It doesn't matter his backstory, whether we know it or not, because the persona of the Joker is so much more than who he is. Like, it doesn't matter if people know Barbara Gordon is this, because it's so much more than that. And it's kind of getting me to the point where, like, it almost doesn't matter if certain people know that it's Bruce Wayne, because Batman is the bigger character.
Yes and no.
That's how I view it.
Well, I agree with what you viewpoint as Joker, right? Like, I never cared who the Joker was underneath. I didn't want to know, and that was part of my hesitation going into this book. In the beginning, I remember. Was I don't want to know who the Joker's identity is. The Joker is a better character, not knowing who the Joker is, and a lot of people would say the same thing about like Darth Vader, and not knowing him in the prequels was better, seeing him as the villain. But I think for me personally, this didn't really. Like Jeff kind of knows this, right? Like, he knows that people don't want to know the true name and everything that happens with the Joker. You can take, and which is kind of cheating, right? He kind of took Alan Moore's origin and just left it in there, and it's like, we're gonna just keep this,
why not,
and move forward with this storyline, and that's gonna be your Joker. But to me, the biggest part of this book entirely, which is me for books, it's like my biggest points are like, oh, you can take this out of context. And if you, for some reason, you live under a rock like Patrick or something, you don't know who Batman is, and you show someone, that's all you need to know about Batman. And to me, that was him saving Joe Chill, and Joe Chill basically says, like, I know who you are, meaning he knows it's Bruce.
Yeah.
And he's like, I hear them talking at Arkham, meaning the villains are talking about who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is.
Oh, I didn't even think of that aspect.
Which is crazy to me, because that means basically all his villains know who he is, which changes that dynamic completely. Well, it's not just like Joker knowing.
Well, when you think about it, I think Penguin knew, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I thought Penguin and Riddler knew.
I thought it was just Riddler and Joker, because Riddler just figures everything out.
Riddler figured it out. I thought,
but why does Jervis Tetch, the Mad Hatter, need to know? You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
But he might, because he said people talk at Arkham. Like, he could be.
It may not be everybody.
It might be only, like, Hugo Strange, I'm sure knows, right?
Harley knows.
Like, certain characters, maybe he heard over conversation with Hugo Strange and, like,
maybe Ivy knows. Like, to me, it's almost organic, too, because, like, any type of news or any type of quote-unquote secret you tell someone, it spreads around because people don't know how to keep their mouth shut. So
Bane knows. 100% Bane knows. Like,
after all these people are kind of like, oh, well, he knows, it's going to spread around and everyone's going to know. So, like,
the other thing is it's like the Boogeyman story. Just because you know, and I think that's the other part, like I said before, just because you know Batman is Bruce, doesn't mean anything. And he's so much more than just Bruce Wayne. Like, we've seen people, and, like, I'm sure these small villains have seen the big villains. Like, I'm sure Jervis has just seen Bane take over the city, knows that it's Bruce Wayne, took over Wayne Manor, killed the Alfred, and Batman still took him out. Like, we see these things, just like, you can't go after him. He's so much more than that. And that's what I'm kind of getting that feeling that, like, it almost doesn't matter that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like, and people know, because he's more than that. He's so much more than a secret identity, as opposed to, like, Peter Parker, right? Like, if more people found out it was Peter Parker, it's done.
Because Peter still has Aunt May and MJ. And
exactly.
Batman.
Like, Batman has these people.
Selina can take care of herself, kind of thing.
And his kids can take care of themselves. Like, they fight with him, right? Like,
yeah, but, like, Aunt May ain't, like, swinging from building to building with a walker.
Exactly. Like, his secret identity is not, like, as much as a hindrance as people thought it is with superheroes. And that's kind of taking it and turning it on its side. And, guys, I know that some Uber fans out there that might be watching this might be like, are you really taking it, twisting it? It's just one way of seeing it. Everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah, it's just we try to see all points of view, and like I said, to me the best part was, even though I'm sure people disagree with this, but I loved it. When he saves Joe Chill, and Joe Chill's like, I know who you are, and he's like, thank you, and Batman just looks at him. He's looking into the eyes of the man who killed his parents, and who, like, from inside the suit is like, you're the reason I'm wearing this stupid thing, and is just like, you're welcome. Yeah. Like. And that's all you need to, like, if anyone was like, who the hell's Batman? That's all you need to know. That and him, like, the roof, like, it's burning and it falls and he saves him again. That is Batman. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, basically almost like I Forgive You, because we see as he's trying to talk the Joker down, the video playing is kind of Joe Chill's uber confession of why he killed the Waynes, and it turns out it was almost like this, like, I was poor, I had nothing, and I saw these rich people who I just assumed were rich socialites who don't do anything for the world. Mm-hmm. And I said, if I'm going to take anyone's money and kill them, it's going to be them, because screw them, they have everything.
And he didn't see the kid, right?
And he didn't see Bruce, and he also didn't see all the good the Waynes were doing for Gotham, and the fact that his dad was a doctor, and the fact that, like, they were helping people and building up the Narrows, and, you know, all this infrastructure to help the town be united. And that, I think, was a very realistic kind of view. Even though I'm sure a lot of people were like, I'd rather just have Joe Chill kind of be the evil bringer of, like, the angel of death in the beginning of this origin. I think it's a cool concept to have closure for a character like that who never got closure in 80 plus years of mythology. And then now it's like, well, Joker, I did it to give you closure, and I gave you therapy that you needed. So now you can just focus on me destroying everything else. I'm like, whoa, that's so sadistic.
Guys, to sum it up, I think Three Jokers, it's less flashy, it's more of a thinker, and I think on the surface, it might not be the story that we wanted, but the more you look into it, the more you examine all the layers of the onion patch, if you will, you're going to find the gold. And guys, that is our review on the Three Jokers, issue 3, the finale of this book. Let us know down in the comments below your thoughts on this book. We're excited to hear.
Yeah, and guys, thanks so much. Please give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Really helps the channel out a lot. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss any more comic breakdowns like this one. We'll be getting into more in the future. And check out some other videos as well. Tell your friends, share, and we will see you next time on the Jersey Comic.
Before you go, you're going to see our icon here again. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and then you can see some more videos on the side. Go ahead and explore. Have some fun.